and this belatedly is the video for day number 180 of my Song a Day project. And the song that I'm doing is Trip to the Fair by Renaissance. I took a trip down to look at the fair. When I arrived, I found nobody there. It seemed I was all alone. Must be that they've all gone home. A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. The voices of yesterday make not a sound. Even the roundabout stopped going round. I wonder just what it means. Is everything how it seems? A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. A creak as the Dodgems came onto the scene. The wheels began turning, I started to scream. The carousel swung around. My head spun and hit the ground. A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. I close my eyes to disguise the fear that's inside. Trembling within my own mind, I find no place to hide. Stars of tomorrow shine through the gray mist that is gone. I wish that this trip to the fair had never begun. Suddenly thousands of faces I see. Everyone seems to be staring at me. Clowns laughed in the penny arcade. What was this game my mind played? I took a trip down to look at the fair. When I arrived, I found nobody there. A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. A trip to the fair, but nobody was there. But nobody was there. But nobody was there. That was my rendition of Trip to the Fair by Renaissance. And that's a group that my dad liked since he was like a teenager. And so I heard that song at some point when I was a kid and always liked it, but only knew like little bits and pieces of it. It was funny, when I looked up the lyrics, I knew like 2 lines from 3 different stanzas. But so it did take a lot of work to learn that, especially since there are some words in it that are sort of unfamiliar. I did know that a roundabout is like a merry-go-round, but although they do mention carousel also. But I had to look up Dodgems. A creak as the Dodgems came onto the scene. Apparently, Dodgems is another word for bumper cars. Makes sense, right? Dodgems. Reminds me of my friend Allison. When we were in high school, we were playing a game, I think, Gestures, and she was trying to describe Dodge. She had a Dodge, and so she was doing this. But anyway, yeah, total sidetrack tangent there. But anyway, so really interesting song. I wonder from the title and the time period if it did not actually mean what it seemed to mean, if it had some like drug reference or something. I'm hoping not. Apparently it's from an album about Scheherazade, who told the cliffhanger stories to keep herself alive. So, you know, it does just seem like an interesting story, and like, what exactly happened to this person, you know, like, what exactly did happen in the story? Did the person, like, find themselves on some kind of alternate plane? Like, it sounds almost haunted at parts. Really interesting. So it is like one of those tales, I imagine. But yeah, as I mentioned, my dad liked Renaissance when he was a teenager, and when he was in college, they apparently played at the county college that he was going to at the time, which seems kind of weird because things like that don't happen nowadays. But and because he was in photography class, I guess, he got to sit up front and photograph Andy Haslam, and he's talked about that many a time. But that had to be pretty cool. If I got to go to an AFI concert and sit up front and take pictures of Baby Havoc, I would be talking about it for a long time too. But anyway, and I actually think that Renaissance, they are apparently performing again presently, and I think that in the past year or so they performed in this area, which is kind of weird. But in the last few years, they fixed up an old movie theater that before that was a theater, I think, and they have had artists performing there and stuff, like Kansas and other pretty well-known groups. I think Vanessa Carlton was there recently too, and it's like in the little town of Newton, so it's very weird. And that's New Jersey, not a better known Newton. But anyway, that's much different from the other songs that I've done, and I wasn't sure how I would sound on it, and it's a song that I went on to YouTube to hear the tune on parts of it, and it was good that I did, because there's that one part that's varied, but there is a lot of music in that. There's a really, really long musical introduction and a really, really long interlude and outro. And it's like 10 and a half minutes, but kind of like my videos are, except actually music. But anyway though, so you know, obviously I wasn't going to wait out music that's not here, so I compressed it a bit, but and I almost was going to cut out the line with the Dodgins thing because I didn't know what it was, but it was neat to find that out. Anyway, it's kind of hard to not sing it with a British accent, but I tried to do my own voice. Anyway, hopefully it sounded good. Once again, that was my rendition of Trip to the Fair by Renaissance for day 180 of my Song a Day project. As always, thanks for listening, and please check back often. I'm Kristin Starr. Peace.